Hello and welcome to Safari Rally at Kenya. The sky may look blue, but there is a storm brewing ahead of our first stage, the legend that now is at Camp Moran. Well, I know it's been eagerly anticipated for many months now, and it is finally here. Ivan Brynjolfsson, as well as the rest of the team, are here this weekend to bring you every single dramatic moment, and I promise you there'll be plenty. Now, Ivan, this is the first time that you've come here, and already you can just see how wild and brutal this place is.
Yeah, definitely. It's a legendary rally. It's a rally everybody really wants to do, but it's so challenging. It's really it's difficult. It's more like a lottery, I think. You really need to read everything with your eyes. You can listen to your pace notes, but you really need read everything, read the grip, and how fast you should go into all these mud holes and the fesh, everything. It's a difficult rally, but it's not getting any easier because now we can see the storm coming behind us.
Well, as soon as we've just come on air to you now, the wind has picked up. Now, the big story here this weekend is the amount of rain. If you've seen on the news, of course, in Nairobi, they've been experiencing these massive floods, and we've also had that amount of rain here. Well, since 1953, this rally has been striking fear in the hearts of rally drivers. We've had legends made here, from Juha Kankkunen to Colin McRae to Richard Burns. All the names have tackled at this place, and we have more coming to tackle it this weekend. Sebastian Ogier, the only man of the current drivers to have won here twice in this new iteration of the rally. But there's plenty of challenges out there, and there's lots of talk on the tips of people's tongues of John Armstrong maybe holding down something here.
And I think that the reason why is that nobody expects anything from him, so he can just relax, do his own rally, try just to survive. And I think if you have this kind of a mentality, just try to survive, I think he will do a really good rally, and it's not up to small margins going really fast like in Finland and other rallies. It's all about, like I said, reading the grip, reading the, how can I say, all the stones, the mud and everything. Try to avoid as many stones as possible, try to avoid punctures, and I think that's in John's favor this rally.
Okay, well, the stories this weekend, we've got 20 stages. It's just over the 350 Ks, slightly shorter than last year. A couple of the stages that you saw last year have been shortened, and Ivan, we've got a new tyre from Hankook this weekend.
Yeah, we definitely we do, and it's a more maybe competitive tyre than we are used to. It's more soft, not only the blocks, the rubber itself, and the sidewalls, everything. They try to make the tire more competitive. You know, as drivers, we complain anyways. If it's too stiff, if it's too soft, we complain, and we really don't like punctures. We want the tire so we can feel the grip and really feel the surface through the tires. But I think maybe this rally will be a challenge for the tires as well. We have seen already on shakedown today, they struggle a bit with some punctures. One thing is when it's all this mud, because you can slide off and hit something outside the road. The other thing is that when all this mud is drying up, because during the day today it's been really, really warm, and then it's drying up, and then you get these ruts. And we said it on shakedown, it's almost like it's baked in the oven. It's really hard, so if you hit the sidewall there, it's easy to get a puncture.
All right, well, there's lots of special terms this weekend as well that we'll talk you through, that if you hear them, at least you'll know what they mean. But this really does hold a special place for many of the drivers. So let's listen in to how they're feeling about what's in store.
We are always super excited, with the only reason because it's a very particular event. Those are the events which tells stories every year, and where the WRC lives as its best, I would say, because that's what you want to see from a WRC event. Challenges, difficulties, disappointments, huge excitements, surprises.
The WRC is on its way to Africa. This is rally, but not quite as we know it.
Well, Safari Rally Kenya is very unique, and first of all, in the name there is Safari. So if you want to enjoy the wildlife, it's the place you need to be. The road sections are very, very cool. You imagine you drive and there is a giraffe next to us, and or a buffalo or whatever.
Getting to the finish line and you see the traditional dance it sums it up, really.
And last year, Josh, Adrienne and Takamoto Katsuta enjoyed the full Kenya experience.
It was the best, I would say, media activity I've ever done. Obviously spending time with Taka and Adrienne, doing a proper safari, seeing the animals, getting to see things you never imagined you would. We adopted a rhino, so it's something you always look back on throughout 2025 of one of the most special experiences I got to do.
We really enjoyed the elephant last year. We We have adopted some elephants also, so it was quite great. I don't know if we will see them this year, but it would be nice to see if they grow up or not.
That was nice moment to see baby elephants and the different kind of natures, very different what I used to my life. So yeah, it was nice experience, and for sure one day I would like to bring my family and kids to there to see all the animals.
And that's one of the things here. It is just an absolutely incredible experience. Well, off the plane, and we dragged Ivan straight into a bit of a safari. It was a bit of a more sort of rural safari. It wasn't so far out. It was right here in Naivasha, but still amazing. We were so close to the giraffes yesterday.
Giraffes, zebras, it was all kind of animals all around you, and we had this lovely safari. We had a boat trip as well to see the hippos. It's just an amazing atmosphere to be here. You know, you can see just outside service here. We can see the animals so close to us. So, I mean, it's like Josh said, it's the best media activity I've ever done, because it's something special.
Well, the perfect word for it. It is just wild in every sense of the word. So those words that I was talking about, the things that you'll hear this weekend that you might not hear on another rally, well, fesh is one of those. It's like that deep sand, and honestly, unless you see it in person, it's hard to imagine, because it just basically sucks the car in. And we saw it with Oliver Solberg just getting completely stuck last year in that fesh. But for the first time, you seeing that as well, it's quite amazing to see what the land can produce here.
Yeah, and I remember back in the days with Richard Burns, he was literally standing on the, like it was on the straight. He was just sinking down with his Peugeot, and it's when you walk in it, it feels like it drags you down, like you said. So you need to judge your speed crossing these fesh sections, because it's easily, if you go too slow and you're just like getting stuck in the wheel spin, and all of a sudden you find yourself on the sump guard and you're stuck, and then you have to start to dig like on a snow rally with a
with a shovel.
with a shovel. So now it's difficult with this fesh.
And this is the only rally as well that has such a thing as a mud car, which means that if you get stuck, obviously it didn't work for Oliver last year, but if you get stuck in, say, the fesh, you can be pulled out and carry on the rally. Now that's a rarity, and it is the only time that you'll see that throughout our whole season.
Yeah, 4x4 off-road cars are ready to like tow you out of the fesh sections and the muddy sections. Anyway, you lose quite a lot, but it's really nice to just like get some help out if you struggle.
And if you're wondering what's happening for the next couple of hours, we've got the start ramp, which is just quite close to us here in Naivasha. Different setup to Nairobi last year. We're right in the heart of rally country now in Naivasha. Crowds, of course, forming. One thing you'll notice this weekend is the amount of crowds. You've probably seen those iconic pictures of all the cars along the roads, the traffic jams, the roadblocks. It really is the reality here. President heavily involved here as well, and you'll see the Maasai warriors as well at the end of that Wolf Power stage up at Hell's Gate as well, of course, at the opening. Now, Julian Porter will be down there. That's what's happening within the next 45 minutes. Then we've got two stages tonight, which is Camp Moran and Mozambique. One is over the 24k mark. Camp Moran, of course, that it's so funny that Camp Moran was introduced last year and is now as famous as some of those stages in Finland. And then we've got a shorter stage, but that Camp Moran, you were speaking to Petter and he had some words on that.
Yeah, I think they all are really afraid of that stage, because I think it will be kind of a decider. It's a 25k stage and 28 maybe. And I think it's really difficult. I think it's a decider. We will see big time gaps. We will see already a lot of drama on the first stage. So I think it's nothing else to do today. Just sit down and watch stage one, because that will be so much drama.
Well, I've had to put my hat on because the wind is picking up, but the reason for the wind picking up means the rain's coming. And when the wind comes, the rain comes, and these just incredible storms. And here as well, I'm sure you probably know, localized storms. So what's going to be interesting this weekend is that Elvin Evans, who's opening the road, who said actually he didn't necessarily think that was much of a hindrance or in his favour. He could go through a dry stage. Sebastian Ogier, who was further down, remember, of course, missing out in Sweden, could go through a soaking wet stage, or the other way around. And I think that's where we might see the parting of the Red Sea there between Elvin Evans and Sebastian Ogier. That's where I think we'll start to see a really big divide. And remember, Ivan, you'll know this, you're talking about the Richard Burns days, the gaps here can be much larger.
Yeah, they can be huge, because it's so easy to do a mistake and then have a puncture, but then you can come back. So it's never like you can't give up, because the others can pick up trouble as well. But you mentioned Evans said he doesn't think it's any different between going first and fifth. And I think maybe this is the only rally on the calendar that's really doesn't matter if you're first on fifth on the road. Ogier as well, I think he's really keen to come back now. Monte Carlo, he was not in the right mood, let's say. He struggled a little bit and had to let the other drivers just like, okay, I can't follow the speed of Oliver. Didn't to Sweden, and I think he's really keen now to come back here and score good points. From his shakedown interview, he was more calm than I've seen him for a long time. Really in the...
He is, isn't he? A different guy, yeah.
So and I think it's just because if you start to stress now, he know that it will make him into trouble. So I think he's just like, he tried to be the old fox now, I think. Just
a wily fox, okay.
Be around there and score the points when the other do mistakes.
All right, well, of course, Elfyn Evans leading our championship, heading down to the opening ceremony right now. And Toyota are the most successful manufacturer in Safari Rally history as well. Shakedown happened this morning. An interesting shakedown. We actually had a Hyundai fastest through in the form of Thierry Neuville. Elfyn was much further down the order. I'm not sure anything really is deemed from shakedown, but just interesting to see.
Yeah, it was not so far away from Thierry's fastest time. Elfyn was forced on shakedown. It was a new shakedown for everybody. The first 2.5K was really rough, really like driving on the rocks. I spoke to Gus Greensmith's co-driver Jonas Andersson and said it was so difficult to read the pace notes for a while because it was so bumpy.
Okay.
And it was quite rough as well, so it was different to the other stages where you can see more mud and more like soft ground. The shakedown was kind of rough, not with a lot of loose rocks, but the surface was rough and sharp stones.
Okay, well, this is the sort of start ramp opening ceremony that we're going to check in with now. Have a look at Elfyn Evans arriving there, the fans in all of their glory, and there's so many incredible fan zones as well around. We're going to head down to one of those at about 5 o'clock before the start of the Mozambique stage. Now, this is Elfyn Evans starting off, basically the official start to his rally there. Now, Julian Porter is down there, but we'll just be keeping our eyes on the proceedings for the moment. And just watching as it all unfolds. Okay, let's just keep our eyes on and see if Julian Porter can get in there, but we will remain with you as well.
Taking part or being part of a motorsport event, and we will be celebrating this moment.
It's the start of Safari Rally Kenya. I mean, the weather's looking like it's coming in, but what are the thoughts going into it now?
It's like we mentioned enough. I think it's going to be a very tough start. The first stage is especially one of the most challenging of the rally. So yeah, it's definitely going to test us right from the beginning.
You say that with a smile on your face, though.
You have to smile, otherwise you cry.
All right, that is Julian having a quick word with Elfyn.
You know what, PK did a lot of interviews after the shakedown. Yeah, that was hard for me to say, after the shakedown and before this, and he said all of the drivers are so happy, and I think it's that point. Basically, you've got to remain happy, because if you even let the task ahead daunt you in any way, you will cry, because even this first stage, imagine you've got to start this rally with Camp Moran, you do one more stage and then you go straight back into Camp Moran tomorrow, and it's not even much time between the two. It's hardly a long night's sleep. This is a difficult rally.
It's a difficult rally, but there's a difference between Greece, for example, in this rally, because they're all a little bit afraid, because the challenge is so huge, and you have all the wildlife, you have all the mud holes and the difficult sections. At the same time, it's like an adventure going through the rally. You know, you're like Adrian said on the interview, it's like in the word of Safari Rally, it's a safari. So I think they're all looking forward to it. At the same time, they're all treating the rally with huge respect.
Well, if you are wondering what you're up to this weekend, you have nothing else to do other than stick with us and make sure you join every bit of the action, because this is like nothing you have ever seen before. It is motorsport at its most brutal and at its wildest. It's definitely worth watching, just to say you've watched a Safari Rally Kenya. Okay, well, how did we get to this point? We've had two legendary rallies already, the last of which was Sweden. Let's remind ourselves.
Temperatures may have been dropping below -20 in the forests around host city Umeå, but there wasn't as much snow as expected. Conditions were unpredictable, and that played into the hands of the man going for his second successive win here.
Quite difficult conditions, really mixed grip, and actually that's where I felt quite comfortable with the car, let's say, in what it was doing, and that really helped us start strongly, I would say.
Elfyn's main challenger for the second year running is Toyota teammate Takamoto Katsuta.
And of course, when you're very early on the road on the second pass, it's always extremely challenging. And of course, when you're fighting road position as well as everything else, it's tough. But Taka was performing really strong on all the second pass stages. We saw that throughout the weekend, and perhaps that was my biggest weakness of the weekend, and the bit that I can definitely look to improve for next time.
After his win in Monte Carlo, Oliver Solberg was under pressure to deliver the first victory in Sweden by a home driver in nearly 30 years. But his challenge was effectively over early on Friday.
Is first on the road. We thought maybe an advantage, but sometimes not so. And he's pushing hard to try and respond. But oh no, Cheney! That's a disaster for the championship leader. He's got away with it, has he?
How has he gotten that car back up onto the road? Instantly picks up a puncture. Where is it? Front left. If that's the worst it is, then he's a very, very lucky boy.
First time being first on the road, it's a lot of learning, and it's a lot of unexpected things this morning, and maybe I underestimated how difficult it was going to be being first on the road, so now I know.
Sweden saw the first start of the season for Martins Sesk, but he was another who found trouble early on.
Saudi Arabia is front left. So that's the first tyre pressure failure we've seen. You can hear it as well. So front left, front right's gone.
Now that's bizarre, Cheney. That is bizarre. You don't get many punches on these stages.
I don't know how is that even possible in the roads like this. One of the tires just exploded on a straight line. I don't know. I really don't know.
The cause of that double puncture appeared to be a decision to run lower tyre pressures in an attempt to find more grip. And with Martin's M Sport 4 teammates also experiencing tyre problems, the team admitted they'd got the balance wrong. But the setup in the Toyota camp seemed to be well tuned into the conditions.
I think Saturday morning was the key one for me, really. I felt comfortable again in the first pass condition, and we were able to open up a gap, and you know, that gap's more or less stayed right until the end. So it was a good job we managed to do that, because otherwise we would have really been under pressure then, because Taka was performing very strong again on Saturday afternoon and looking after his tyre as well.
And with Sami Pajari holding third and Oliver Solberg battling back to fourth, Toyota were dominating. And this following on from their podium lockout in Monte Carlo. Tough viewing then for Hyundai. For the second rally running, they were struggling to match the pace of the Japanese manufacturer.
Well, we had 3 cars, 3 different setups. We have to look where we can gain, and actually the 3 cars are doing the same pace, so it's something else.
The only question now, how many Super Sunday points could Elvin and his Toyota teammates add to the collection?
Well, I think you have to go for it now. There's so many points up for grabs on Sundays. You can't just cruise through and let somebody else grab them all up. So you have to perform, at your best still. And I feel like we balanced the risk versus reward quite well during the day today. We drove quite clean.
Elvin Evans was topping the Super Sunday standings. Could he now add the Power Stage win to make it the perfect weekend?
It's all going to come down to this final left-hander.
5:56 exactly is the benchmark.
Tidy. It's going to be so close. There's going to be nothing in it at all.
Oh, no! 10th of a second! It is the Power Stage win then for Thierry Neuville. But Elvin Evans and Scotty Martin take their third victory in Sweden.
Congratulations, winners of Rally Sweden 2026. Well done.
To be, winner in Sweden anyway was quite special. So to win it 3 times is quite cool. I've never won any other event 3 times, so it feels quite nice in a way. And I've always said it that winning rallies isn't easy, so each one is special in a way.
Elvin's final winning margin, 14.3 seconds. Confirmation of that all-Toyota top 4. Adrian Fourmel, the leading Hyundai, in 5th. Evans' 34 points haul sees him move ahead of Oliver Solberg at the top of the drivers' standings. His lead, 13 points. Katsuta moving up to 3rd. And no surprises, Toyota are bossing the team championship after the opening 2 rounds. Their lead over Hyundai, 51 points. And more bad news for Toyota's rivals. They've won every edition of the Safari since it returned to the championship in 2021.
All we know is that we have to continue to do our best. Kenya is one of them rallies where you definitely need to drive with your head. You have to keep a little margin or a little sympathy for the car at least. Kenya is anyway going to be a tough one, and anything can happen there, and we'll continue to go event by event.
Well, Elvin knows all too well how tough it is here and how to win here. Of course, last year's winner. And remember, his win here last year was his last win of the season. So let's hope he doesn't repeat that if he's going to get that championship charge continuing.
No, let's say, but it's the first time I heard a rally driver said sympathy for the car. It's not so often any of us take care of the car. It's just flat out. No, I mean, Rally Sweden was really a masterclass from Evans. From start to the end, he controlled everything, and now it's Safari Rally. It's a podium lockout in Monte Carlo for Toyota, podium lockout in Sweden for Toyota, and now we know they're really strong here. At the same time, it's a lottery. You know, it could be Hyundai now getting some motivation. I think they need some motivation. They need a good results.
Well, the man that's standing just to our side there having a serious conversation is Andrew Marriott. And he is Andrew Wheatley.
Andrew Wheatley.
Yeah, I don't know why. Andrew Marriott is a very old motorsport commentator, and every time I think of Andrew Wheatley, I always think of Andrew Marriott as well. But anyway, that is dyslexia for you in the brain. Andrew Wheatley said that they had changed their test road for Safari as one of the reasons why they changed their test roads. So their hopes were being pinned a little bit on Safari by doing that. He told us that in Sweden. We've seen Thierry go through this shakedown fastest. Again, sure, that doesn't tell much of a story, but it's an interesting look.
Yeah, and it tells something. And we know that, like you said, they changed the test road. They went directly from Sweden to their new test road in, I think it was Tuesday, Wednesday after the rally. With Rally Sweden fresh in mind, tried to figure out what's wrong, but try to find this, like I call the stone in the shoe, to pick it out so they can walk normal, all three drivers. So from shakedown, I think it was the third run where Thierry was faster, but still it's a good feeling to be fastest. I think the team need the spirit, they need the motivation, and they believe that they can beat Toyota, because if Toyota gonna win again, it's getting more and more difficult to beat them. So let's say for the whole championship and for me watching as a fan as well, it's really good that Toyota can Hyundai can bounce a little bit back and show that they have fixed this little problem.
Well, we do know that anything can happen here. Let's talk about Oliver Solberg as well. He's arriving at that start ramp now. A bit of a disappointment for Sweden, but actually in my eyes, I think not so bad, because if he'd won in Sweden, the pressure would just be so much on him that the rest of the season would be unbearable. Let's see if Julian can get a word with him. As before, we'll be with you, but Julian Porter is going to work his way, weave his way through the crowd there to see if he can get to Oliver. So we'll hand down to him for a second.
National hero in Kenya, and it's the first time on the wax for Toyota.
Oliver, you're having a look around there, but this is where it all starts to get quite serious. What are you looking forward to most?
Yeah, well, it starts to get serious. I'm a little bit nervous now, I have to say, because tonight is a really tricky start to the rally. I mean, the stages are proper demanding, the first one now. So it's going to be cool, good challenge to start the rally, and incredible to see so many people here already.
There is a lot of people. Elliot, what's it like from a co-driver's perspective on this event?
Yeah, obviously it's a really, really demanding rally from both sides of the car, but especially our side of the car as well. You know, this first one tonight is really, really tricky. It's just corners, and elevation, jumps, everything. So, yeah, a really demanding rally, but yeah, ready to get going. Looking forward to it.
All right, fantastic. We have Oliver Solberg just about to begin his adventure, navigated by Elliot Edmondson.
There you go. We're just talking about the Vice President of Kenya down there. He's the man waving the flag, so he's going to keep proceedings going down there at the moment. And words there, I like the fact that they managed to speak to both driver and co-driver. Thoughts about their weekend ahead?
It's going to be demanding, like they said. It's demanding, just not for the driver, for the co-driver. I mentioned Jonas Andersson complained, he didn't complain, but said it was like a big challenge to read the pace notes when it's so bumpy. So It's going to be a long weekend ahead. I think we can expect from Oliver a smart drive. I think his experience is his 6th, 7th time here now.
It's his 5th time, 5 starts here and 3 retirements here. So
and
in
Petra
fact,
been there for many years.
Yeah.
I think those two together. Now with the experience Oliver got the last few years, getting older,
wiser,
and girlfriend, fiance. I think.
But does that make you grow up?
I think you need sometimes somebody to.
Yeah.
And I think that the total package now with the Toyota and everything, I think we can expect a smart rally and a good drive. Yeah, I think it's a podium chance for Oliver here again, and it will just make him even stronger in the championship.
All right, well, Taka getting his first podium here in Kenya. He's notoriously strong here as well. Taka's very eager to repeat a podium. Julian Porter is down there, so I think we'll head down to him, see what we get.
Taka, it's an event that you've done well on in the past, you've enjoyed, you've loved. What is the 2026 edition going to be like?
Yeah, of course, this rally is very special. Every year been very challenging, and yeah, especially a lot of animals we can see also. That's amazing, and yeah, but we love this kind of challenge, and I love a lot in this kind of rally, and Kenya especially. So thank you for the support, and see you later. Thank you.
Fantastic. Okay.
But with that first podium that Taka has had here, he also had the disaster, pretty much first corner of the Wolf Power stage last year. I remember standing in Hyundai as they were watching, just absolutely couldn't believe we'd got the information a little bit earlier, about a second earlier than they could, and our cameras ran in there, and I see everybody looking at why, and then disaster struck for Taka. There is so many highs and lows. The 2021 with Thierry, he was leading the way on Sunday. Disaster struck for him. It's unbelievable how quickly things can turn around.
And this rally is really not over until it's over. Even the last few Ks, last 100 meters really count. Everything can happen. And we saw, like you said, Taka, he was like full of tears. All the emotions came out when he made a mistake, and he felt he really let not only himself but the team down. It's a difficult rally. And his Super Sunday points as well, you know, to score all these points, take some risks, and judge all the time when to go slow and not too slow, and when to go fast and not too fast.
And
that's
we should mention with the Super Sunday points that Elvin Evans is the first man to get 100 points in the Super Sunday. So that's all important as well, knowing how to utilise and maximise the Super Sunday points. So, well, I mean, Thierry pretty much won his championship on those Sunday points, didn't he?
Yeah, we saw last year that, now 2 years ago actually, when Thierry was not doing really well the championship. He didn't, I think he won won two rallies that season, but he won this championship by being clever enough on Sunday to score the Super Sunday points and try to avoid a 0 points. So it's all possible with a Super Sunday point system.
Yeah, all right. Well, Adrian Formo, he is looking for a good weekend. He sounded very positive when we spoke to him earlier. He's heading down to that start ramp. The start ramp proceedings just ahead for Adrian, the official start of his Safari Rally Kenya. Julian Porter, we're handing back down to you.
And Deputy President of Kenya here, but it's now starting to get a bit serious. We're into the big action. How are the nerves?
It's quite tense now, actually. I think you can see all around the clouds coming, and I think the rain can reach the stages quite quickly. So, but actually, very pleased to be here with all the fans, and it's always a special event in the championship. So always pleased to be here, and yeah, the show is starting now. So yeah, for sure the tension is coming.
Orion, Adrian Formo, wishing him all the best as it begins.
And of course, this is the second event in a row. We're joining the third, but his second event in a row, which he's been the highest scoring Hyundai as well, which is important because his performance has been stronger than his teammates at this point. In terms of his teammates, it's Esa-Pekka Lappi that's here this weekend. We will hear from him again in a short while. Esa-Pekka's had a torrid time here as well. I think the story for Esa-Pekka is he's always had the pace here, but he's never quite managed to pull off the finish.
No, and I think he said something like he will carry drive shaft, gearboxes and differentials in the car just to make sure, because it's a tough rally for all the technical parts on the car as well, like drive shafts and gearboxes.
Actually, just while you're talking about that, obviously there's different things that you'll take within the car, particularly on different rallies. Here in Safari, what can you take, what are you allowed to take, and what would you think that you should take if it was you going?
It's actually quite a lot of things and parts you can bring into the car, but it's it's a give and take with the total weight as well.
Yeah.
You don't want to bring too much, but all the arms, the steering arms and so on, it's important to bring. We have seen so many pictures when they are repairing the car with stones and bending all these arms back. So you bring parts you can manage to change within the little time between the stages. So if you know that the part, I can't change it within the 20 minutes between the stages, you don't bring it. So, but some parts, yes, and that's why you need to be a good mechanic. That's why most of the drivers practice on changing parts.
Yeah, and we saw, obviously, if you saw across socials, John Armstrong had been in the workshop just learning a bit more of that craft. Okay, well, the sky actually weirdly has cleared to our left there and is sort of moving over that way. You heard Adrian talking about it. The big talk here is the weather. And interestingly enough, with the weather, it sort of builds the atmosphere. You feel this is a crazy place. The atmosphere here is just absolutely electric.
And so you can really feel it's going to rain now, and you can see the rain is coming towards us.
Yeah,
you can feel it's going
like
to rain.
all the emotions are in the sky. Is absolutely amazing. Well, let's hear what the drivers are expecting from the conditions out there.
You probably throw in a bit of rain in there, which they've saved for a year, and then they pour it down in an hour, and then it's a unique experience.
When the rain coming in Kenya, it's a game changer. Wow, this is then becomes a very, very unique sensation.
When it's raining in Kenya, it's super tricky, zero grip. Basically, it's on the ice, so that's the most tricky thing.
And on one stage we had extremely heavy rain, and I remember doing this basically like almost 1 kilometer completely straight line, but it was suddenly so heavy rain. Basically you should have a boat in this case, like you are completely aquaplaning.
The WRC, of course, features a variety of gravel surfaces, but sections of the Kenyan stages are something different altogether. Watch out for the infamous fesh.
Got the fesh. We make some very beautiful pictures. Not so nice to drive, but really nice after that.
It's like a very soft sand that tends to get more soft and deeper with every car that passes.
It's basically sinking sand is the best way I can describe it. It's quite deep. If you slow down at all, you're going to get sucked in and basically get stuck, and you have to keep the momentum going throughout it. And if you think about braking, forget about it, because you're stopped for the day.
I would say there is two ways. One is you go flat out through the fesh because it will slow you down, and if it slows you down too much, you stop and you're stuck.
The best way to attack it is to try and not get stuck. So that's naturally keeping momentum going, not to brake the car too heavily into it to create big angles on the car.
And there is another way, is try to go around. Then you might lose some time, but you don't get stuck. So it's a compromise that you need to decide.
You need to be careful in some of the situations that you do not dig in with the front of the car into the fesh because it will immediately fill up the air intakes, and the engine won't breathe anymore, and then basically you have a massive amount of power loss and you might even get stuck.
I cannot say much positive about fesh, if I'm honest. So let's hope. If there is fesh, my target is always try to find a way to go around it, but sometimes not possible.
And Oliver Solberg knows all about how damaging the fesh can be.
Fesh is for me the worst, in the world, because obviously I lost my win last year in Kenya in the Rally 2 car in fesh. But now the advantage is, how to get out of it is to be in a Rally 1 car with more power. Then you are pretty okay.
I like Auger's conversation. There is nothing positive to say about Fesh. You just need to try and avoid it. Well, if you've seen the cars a little running through shakedown, but also particularly there are differences to the car. Now, of course, in the past, there were specific Safari Rally Kenya cars, but now there are just additions like the snorkel.
Yeah, they are doing some special things like the snorkel. So the engine can breathe while going into water crossings and maybe also some mud holes where it's possible for the engine to breathe from the roof. And I think that's a cool addition that we have still this Safari spec. Even we have this fence kind of thing on the front of the cars to protect the car as well. So I think the snorkel addition to the car just makes it more, how can I say,
a bit more aggressive.
Yeah,
for Safari,
more aggressive.
yeah.
It looks really, really cool for me.
And also we'll see the Hyundai have the flashing lights as well. That came in the Damo era, the flashing lights, just to sort of warn off the wildlife. Good idea, don't know, but that's one of the things they have. All right, Sébastien Ogier, the man himself, the only man of this generation to have won it twice in this current set of drivers. Of course, Calais had done that in the past as well, but he's back to fight for the championship title. He missed Sweden. Julian's going to find out how he's feeling.
Back onto the calendar, navigated by Vincent Landais. Welcome back to Kenya and all the best.
Seb, we're going to grab a quick word with you before you head out to what is known as the African Adventure. Because a smile on your face. Everyone's come here with a smile, but I think that's maybe a bit of nerves as well.
Well, I mean, what can we do? Of course, we smile. I mean, we're still happy to be here, but yeah, the rain is coming, and let's see with which timing. Hopefully not just after the first cars are starting. You know, that will be disaster, but you know, that's part of this rally, and we'll have to accept it.
It is a great atmosphere as well. Look at all the people just for the start.
Yeah, that's great always, and I always like to see the smile of their face, having a lot of fun of rally are here, and yeah, beautiful country anyway.
He's actually got away with words, that man, as well as away with the rally car. It's true, it is a beautiful country. The fans are incredible. The fesh is awful, and the rain is going to determine what happens this weekend.
But the disadvantage now being Auger now, running further down in the field, is that when the rain is coming in, like you mentioned, it might be that the first 3-4 cars got like more dry road, and then it starts to rain. And when it first starts to rain in Kenya, it's pouring down. So we might see some of the cars going through without too heavy rain, and then if it first starts to rain, and it maybe then happens when Auger is there, he will lose so much time. And we are talking maybe not only seconds, but talking minutes.
I really do think if we are seeing this rain that's talked about, I don't know, it's really hard to say because the drivers are saying rain's coming. We were told rain wouldn't come tonight by the locals. Obviously, it looked like it was in the sky. Camp Moran is not that far away. We've got 2 stages for you tonight. A really big, tough stage in Camp Moran, and the Mozambique stage is a short, fast blast through the Safari Rally Kenya stage. But it'll be interesting to see what happens because I really do think if the rain comes, it's where we'll see the divide between Evans and Auger just purely on their road position, their road order, because Auger is further down in the championship standings. If you're wondering what we're talking about, they start the rally in championship order, don't they? They go road on to the first.
Yeah, they do, and we saw from shakedown actually, car by car it was going a little bit slower because if the mud hole is in the beginning of the corner, they drag the mud all around the corner, and then it's getting more and more slippy for driver by driver. So I think it's for Evans, it doesn't matter to be first, but I think it's a disadvantage to be in Seb's position at this rally because, yeah, when it's first start to rain, it's rained so much, so it's going to be interesting to see because now I can see it's raining behind us, Gary.
Okay, all right. Well, Esa-Pekka Lappi, we've talked about the downside of his experience here, but is he going to have a good one this weekend? Julian Porter, of course, is still down there, so let's find out how Esa-Pekka is feeling.
And our first lady navigator. Kelele and ladies iko wapi? We have our first lady navigator. And the ladies, you are well represented.
EP, Eni, you've been here before, only finished 12th both times. You've had the speed but not the reliability or the problems. Can Eni bring you some good luck this weekend?
I definitely hope so. This is what we need. We need also to earn the luck, but I hope we can do that as well, so let's see.
Eni, how excited are you to finally start the Safari Rally Kenya?
It will be an adventure, but let's see. We need also some luck, I think.
I think you do need some luck. Good luck this weekend.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk about luck, and I know there's so many drivers that famously say things, Chris Meek, Sebastian Ogier, you don't get luck, you make your luck. But I think here, if ever you could get a little bit of luck on your side, then this would be the place to wish for it.
Yeah, like you say, you make your own luck, but I actually disagree a little bit, because I think you can make your own luck this rally as well if you try to be more clever than the others. And we heard Seb said sometimes you have to really go around the fesh and don't hit the fesh because then you get stuck. So often we pick up problems just because we are gambling. For most of it as well, you have to deal with the judging all the time, going flat out and try not to get stuck, but maybe pick up some other troubles. And Neville said it as well, you're going too fast, you will find sand in your air filters and the engine will go really slow. So it's so many challenges, and you just don't only think about your driving, you think about the whole rally and try to survive. So it's going to be difficult for Lappi. He knows that he struggled quite a lot in the past with technical difficulties. So I think it's all about trying to, the mentality, change it, have fun, try to survive, and it will be fine.
Well, John Armstrong, what an opening 3 rounds. He's had so much in terms of challenges. Monte Carlo, one of the toughest. Sweden was brutal in so many ways, and now he gets a Safari Rally at Kenya. Julian down there to find out once again how this man is feeling ahead of a very tough rally.
All right, John Armstrong, navigated by Shane Van, rallying for the first time in Kenya.
We know it's an adventure. It's a word we use a lot. It's a challenge. It's one of the iconic events. You're about to head off to that first stage. Nervous or excited?
I think a mixture of both. Of course, a bit nervous because the stages are really demanding here, very tough, very bumpy, and the first stage has a bit of mud, a bit of ruts and places to be careful. And yeah, it's such an iconic event. It's great to see so many people turned out here, so thank you very much. And yeah, I can't wait to see what rallying in Kenya is all about.
All right, well done.
He's a little bit more focused than he was earlier after sort of shakedown, and in between that and before the rally, I think he's been a bit more sort of jokey about the setup here and all of that sort of thing, the stages, but now he's actually seeming a bit more focused.
Yeah, he had some jokes about these swamps and Shrek and all sort of things. I think now it's getting more serious, but John is nothing to lose, he already impressed us all in Monte Carlo and so on, so just have fun, John.
Yeah, just have fun, John. As much fun as you can. All right, Cameron on the way for you. That will be in about 15 minutes time, I think, or so. I'm not sure what the time is here, but not long to wait, I promise you that. Then tomorrow morning, it's such an early start as we head back into Camp Moran for stages 3 to 10, and then you see it rolling on Saturday, stage 11 to 16, and then it's a big day finishing up at Hell's Gate on Sunday for the Wolf Power stage. That's all how it lines up this weekend for another edition of Safari Rally at Kenya. Who will stand on that top spot of the podium? We will certainly find out tonight. Ivan reckons that this stage alone, Camp Moran, could be a deciding factor in the rally. So if you are going to...
now it starts to rain here in Ceres Park as well.
And we've just got news in, by the way, that rain is falling at the start and the stop of this first stage. This weekend is like nothing you have ever seen before in terms of the motorsport world. It has everything and so much more. You've got the wildlife, you've got the drama, you've got the weather, you've even got the snorkels on the rally cars.
It's blue
not
sky
long
there. It's full rainstorm there.
It's not long to wait. Make sure you join us for all of the action.